Scorpio, hello, Amanda here. Welcome to the Unseen Hands Collective. This is going to be your February shift reading. We're looking at the shape you're shifting out of this month, the shape you shift into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like. Scorpio, the image that's coming to me for you this month is, I think it's called maybe the bow of the boat or like the hull. The front of the boat cutting through the water at speed. Like there's this boat and I'm like really zoomed in on that part of the boat all the way in the front that is moving so quickly and just like splitting that water, you know, like cutting through the water. And then it's like, if I'm able to zoom out from that action of like cutting through the water and moving very quickly, I realize that I'm standing on the boat looking, you know, further into the horizon, and there's like, you know, it's like this idyllic scene of like dolphins jumping by the front of the boat, like with, you know, at the same speed. And, you know, dolphins can represent this energy of like play and joy. This is interesting. So we're using the Slow Holler Tarot this month, Scorpio, to show you your shapeshift. And here's what it looks like. You're shifting out of the Hanged One energy, or in this deck, it's called the Precipice, and into the Six of Swords, which is an energy of moving on. And what's really interesting about the Six of Swords as your shapeshift is typically it's traditionally represented as a boat. And then like, you know, it's wild for me as a reader when that happens, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that was the image that came through in your meditation, was this boat. And then I pulled the Six of Swords. Here's another depiction from the Fifth Spirit Tarot of the Six of Swords. So like this is a little more traditional with the boat moving on, and it's talked about as moving on from rough waters to calmer seas, you know, and even these geese are making that V, you know, like you're making some sort of shift, some sort of movement, some sort of transition, and it may be more of an emotional transition away from, here, I'll show you what your shapeshift looks like here. The Six of Cups, the Storm, which is the Tower energy, and the Seven of Wands. So I'm getting a really specific story here with this. Here you are, Scorpio, sort of hanging, maybe trapped a bit by these ropes, bound above this swirling vortex of water below, which feels to me like this swirling storm. Okay, and it's sort of like the Bermuda Triangle of the past, because the Six of Cups talks about the past energy, and specifically this depiction of the Six of Cups is showing like a trinket shelf of these precious memories or certain things that we hold on to from past experiences, and we collect them. We collect our past experiences and then like put them on these shelves inside of us. And we hold on to them, and they collect dust, and they just sit there inside of us, you know, especially these bottles. It's like we bottle these past experiences up inside of us. And there's something, there's some sort of storm here. You know, I love all this ocean imagery for you, Scorpio. There's like a storm from the past that is kicking up in your experience. And it sort of feels like maybe you feel as if you are on the verge of like falling back into that past vortex or that past storm or that past whirlwind, whirlpool. When in reality, you have the power to stop it at any moment. This is what this feels like to me with the Seven of Wands. The story here is like this storm or this vortex from the past starts swirling for you, you know, again. It's like, here it is swirling this, and it's almost like a record playing. You know, you could see that tree stump as like that, the more of the spin energy, spinning energy, spinning energy, spinning energy. Here it is, these past narratives maybe, or past emotional experiences or past stories are up for you, and they are spinning maybe quite intensely. And then it's almost like someone stops the record. That's what this energy feels like to me, is you just like taking the needle off the record player, or like, you know, like a DJ would spin a track and then be like, you know, that's what it feels like to me, is you being like, no, hold on, stop this track. This is an old narrative. This is an old story of like swirling emotions and fears from past experiences that actually just is not true for me right now, or is not something I'm going to engage in. It is not part of my present experience. And in doing that, you realize, you know, the Seven of Wands is like taking your power. That's what it's about. It's about standing up, taking your power, fighting against obstacles. And you stopping this record is you standing up and taking control. You know, like taking power, taking control of the situation in the ways that you can, which it like, you know, we don't always have control of our situations in our lives, but what we can often control is our reaction to it. And that's what I'm feeling here. I'm feeling you, like all this swirling up for you again, and you're like on the verge of falling into it. And you're like, actually, you know what? No, I'm not doing that. We're not, you know, this is like, I'm not slipping back into that vortex here. I'm putting up the cage. I'm putting up the walls. I'm saying, no, that is not something I'm engaging with. And then boom, Six of Swords, that boat that I saw in the beginning can move out of that storm at speed. You know, there it is. Here you are moving on from the past, moving on from past experiences, Scorpio, and from past narratives that continue to like invite you into this deep, twisty spiral. You know, and like in that way, they can have power over your present experiences because they invite you into like a deep emotional spiral. That's kind of how this is coming through, is like this deep emotional spiral within yourself that just like doesn't move you forward. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you maybe repeating the past over and over and over again. The boat is here, Scorpio, for you to get on that boat and get out of the past. Those past narratives are no longer true. And this is the vehicle. Interesting that we have Mercury here, and, you know, Mercury's retrograde for a lot of February here. Giving you the perspective you need to realize you can move on. And to realize that like the vehicle for you to move on is here. You know, that's the boat. I also brought out this card from the Slow Color Tarot, which is the Navigator or the Emperor. But this is really evocative of the image I saw in the beginning of like the boat. And the fact that the Emperor is here with the Seven of Wands, you steer the ship. You steer the ship. You can direct. You can direct the ship. You can control the speed. Like you actually have a whole lot of power in this situation, and it's up to you to see these past storms for what they are, and like the past narratives as past, so that you can step up and take control of the situation here and decide to move on from that past. And maybe like quite quickly, you know, and like imagining the dolphins here, like riding that emotional energy rather than letting it suck you into your own Bermuda Triangle here, you know, your own like swirling vortex. It's like, what if that water energy could carry you towards new land, could carry you away from the Bermuda Triangle and like towards a more like ride the joyful, light, emotional experiences towards something new, towards like a more balanced and stable emotional experience. Because here's something interesting. When I looked up like what that part of the ship is called, and on some ships there's a part underneath the water called the bulbous bow, and it actually helps the ship to move more quickly, with more fuel efficiency and more stability through the water. And that's what this is really trying to get you to do, Scorpio. It's trying to get you to move more efficiently through your emotional experiences, maybe more quickly and with more stability, cutting through the waters with more stability, speed, and efficiency, rather than letting them swirl you, spiral you downward every single time, which just like keeps you looping, you know, which is not an efficient use of energy. The forward motion here, moving out of those vortexes. Oh yeah, so this is not just me here at the Unseen Hands Collective. We have an astrologer, Kevin. We have Kelsey, who creates these like immersive guidebook experiences for you each month. Okay, so this is only 1/3 of your experience in the shift. This is just the tarot. You've got astrology, you've got guidebooks. You can check that out at our website, linked below, by the way. But when the collective and I, we talk through your energy each month as the cards come out, and we're looking at the astrology, linking everything up. And one thing that came through in that discussion was using this water energy that you are and that you have, your emotional experiences, as a vehicle rather than a vortex. You know, let your emotions be a vehicle that carry you forward rather than a vortex that draw you back down into the past. So I'm going to leave that there right now. There's a lot more to share with you about what the collective realized by looking at these cards, and then we're also going to use other decks here and start to get some clarifiers and really dig into this energy. So if this is resonating with you so far, Scorpio, and you'd like to view that extended reading, click the link in the description. It'll take you over to unseenhandscollective.com, where you can find the extended reading in the shop and also in our monthly memberships. And again, this is only 1/3 of your shift. You can check out the astrology scope to loop in the planetary shift for you this February, and you can also get Kelsey's guidebook to really more personally work through your own experience with this insight. All right, so we hope you join us over there at unseenhandscollective.com. Take care, Scorpio. Half in, half out. It's like, get on the boat, you know, like don't, half in, half out can also be this Hanged One energy of just like not really wanting to go backwards, but not really wanting to go forwards, but ooh, and it's also this Two of Pentacles energy of trying to keep the past in the present and go towards the future. It's like, well, I don't really want to let that go, but I don't really want to totally be here, so I'll just try to keep doing this juggling act. I mean, that's just like staying half in and half out when you're being asked, I think, to make a choice, to go all in. Oof. Make the choice to go all in. Okay, what else? Oh my gosh, I just turned that packet up. Show up. Dang. Yeah, show up. That's what this is saying. Like you're only half here if you're still so much in past narratives. You're not here with us.
You're trying to knock out the emotional swirl and help you to, like I said, use the detachment in a constructive way. Use the detachment to ask yourself, like, instead of going, oh my God, this is so terrible, and I know something horrible is going to happen, and, you know, I'm just so scared, and blah, 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 and you feed the swirl, okay? And then you detach yourself from the process of embodying, okay? Because it's scary to be embodied and to, like, feel all of the things that embodiment means. Sometimes it's easier to hang in midair.